Hey friends, it's Lena from wiscobujo, and today we're going to set up our 2022 bujo. For my 2022 bullet journal setup, we are using Notebook Therapy's Dream of Snow collection. This is the Winter Journey Black Bujo in A5 size. I'm also using the Suke pop-up pencil case to carry all of my pens. Of course, I have Pigma Micron pens. They're my favorite pens to use because they use archival ink and it does not smudge. That was a tombow brush pen, and we're also using tombow fudenoSUke and Pentel brush pens. My trusty Signo white gel pen, and my usual writing utensils, which are zebra gel pens. For the name page, I'm just doing something super simple, so I'm just writing my name here and adding some layered elements. I'm also adding some of these whimsical cloud stickers from Leela Journals. I got them from her Patreon, but I'm sure you can also purchase them on her Etsy shop. This cute little bellflower stamp is also from Notebook Therapy. I went ahead and made tabs for this setup. I decided that this year I'm going to try to incorporate tabs in all of my spreads. Whenever I'm starting a new journal, I always include a grid page. Personally, I just think it's an essential page for any new bullet journal setup. That way, when you're working on spreads, you're not wasting precious creative time counting the squares. I don't always decorate my grid page, but I figured since it's opposite of my cover page that I would go ahead and do so. For this spread and all of my later spreads, I incorporated some type of label, some textured papers, and a dictionary paper scrap. When I was going through my vintage dictionary, I got really lucky and found a page that relates to every spread of this 2022 bullet journal setup. As you can see here, this one says grid. Moving on to our cover page. My 2022 word of the year is manifest. The third definition says show, prove. I feel like in the past I've always talked about how I wanted to do other creative endeavors such as making a YouTube, opening up a shop, and selling my artwork. But they were just words and not action. I never actually brought any of those things to fruition. I decided that 2022 is going to be different and that I will manifest my goals. I did get a little head start and started my YouTube channel as well as a soft opening of my Etsy shop. So far I'm just destashing stationery and making curated stationery sets, but I'm hoping to improve my digital art skills and sell my artwork in the form of stickers and prints. Moving on to my future log. A future log provides an overview of the year. Since I'm only doing 6 months in this bullet journal, I only made a spread for January to June. These nifty monthly stickers are from Paper Minty Studio. On her shop, they're actually listed as new trackers, so while you can also use them for monthly spreads or just a tiny monthly overview, you could also use them for any type of trackers like habit trackers or a mood tracker. You may or may not have noticed, but I ended up messing up May. I misnumbered the month, so I had to take out the sticker and put in a new sticker and renumber the month all over again. Luckily, I had another tracker sticker that was similar to the color palette of the spread. So for all of you who are new to bullet journaling, even seasoned bullet journalers make mistakes sometimes. The pretty flower stickers are also from Paper Minty Studio, and that brown label I taped down there is a printable from Album Love Handmade. The labels are perfect for vintage snail mail and junk journaling. Moving on to the monthly overview. This spread was inspired by my friend Sincerely Nuria, or maybe it's Nuria. Girl, I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong, but she has an amazing IG account and you should definitely check it out. The purpose of this spread for me is to include a little snippet of the bullet journal theme for that month in the little squares. In the other space, I'm going to write a brief overview of how that month went. Something I'm really bad at is going back on my work and reflecting on it. If I have a spread that forces me to look back at it, then maybe I will be more likely to do so. Why is reflecting important to me? Personally, I just believe that you should always go back and try to look at what you've done, all that you've accomplished, as well as see where you can improve. I've been bullet journaling for over 3 years now, and in that time, my style and how I go about my spreads has changed so much. If you have been following me on my bullet journal journey, first off, I just want to say thank you for your unwavering support. You guys are amazing. Secondly, you'll know that I used to do purely watercolor and gouache spreads. While those spreads were beautiful and really pushed my creativity and my fine motor skills, it was also very time consuming. So that is why as I moved into 2021, I incorporated a lot more scrapbook style spreads into my themes. My reflection was that I was spending way too much time creating my spreads and not enough time using my spreads. I messed up my line, so I had to cover it with a piece of paper. Moving on to content plans and my followers tracker. For the remainder of my spreads, I went ahead and drew all the lines off camera because ain't nobody got time to film all the line drawing. But I think you all get the idea when it comes to drawing the lines. I usually just model it after a spreadsheet style because I like how it looks. On the left side is my content plan spread, so I'm going to write down all of my ideas for Instagram themes, Instagram reels, and my YouTube videos. On the right side, it's just a followers tracker. Well, followers and subscribers. I'll probably check in at the beginning of each month and write down how many followers I have then, and that's only if I remember to look back at it. I try not to let the numbers get to my head in terms of the number of people following and subscribing to me, but I still think it's good to look at your growth over time. I just want to mention here for all of you who are just starting bullet journaling and you're not seeing the numbers that you would like to, I want to say that we all started somewhere, and even for me personally, I only hit 10K this past year. So that means it took me 3 years to get over 10,000 followers. So don't get discouraged, and in my best Kris Jenner voice, you're doing amazing, sweetie. And now I am rambling and we are moving on to our goals and books read spread. So I use the word goals instead of resolutions because I think goals are more attainable. In the past, when I made resolutions, I feel like I always did unrealistic and superficial resolutions, such as go to the gym and work out. And let's be real, I am not going to the gym. I am staying home. But anyways, I feel like if you put goals instead of resolutions, it feels smaller and it feels more realistic to achieve that goal. For example, instead of putting something general like go to the gym or work out, you could put something more attainable, such as go to the gym 3 times a week. You can write down what you're gonna do to go to the gym 3 times a week in those conditions, as well as your due date. For my books read spread, I just have date, title, author, and rating. 2022 was not a good book year for your girl. I read maybe like 3 or 4 books, and usually I read about 40 books a year. But for 2022, I'm going to try to at least read 12 books, so that's 1 book a month, which I think is doable. So definitely let me know your book recommendations, especially if they're YA fantasy. Now we are on my last spread, which is my mail log. It's where I record my incoming and outgoing mail. As you may or may not know, I also love snail mail, and I love writing to my pen pals as well as creating paper crafts for them. I'm also on SwapBot, where I swap stationery and other items, so it's good to have a mail log so I can keep track of what's coming in and what's going out. And now we are done with our 2022 spreads. I ended up covering my name on this name page because I felt like that brown marker did not go well with the overall aesthetic. So that's why it looks a little different. This page, I also added some circle stickers because I felt like it needed some extra symmetry and take up some more space. Something I wanted to note is that you've probably already watched other bullet journalers' 2022 setups, and you might have noticed that some of our spreads may vary. My piece of advice to you is to try out and recreate some spreads and then try to find what type of spreads are relevant and functional for you. The beauty of bullet journaling is that you can make it how you want it. Whether it's for planning purposes, pushing your creativity, or just aesthetics, find your bujo niche. I hope you enjoyed watching my 2022 bujo setup, and thank you so much for your viewership. Stay tuned for my January 2022 spreads.